Ladies and gentlemen, tonight we are live for another edition of NASCAR 06 Total Team Control on the channel. And this evening we have a doubleheader for you guys for the NASCAR Cup Series side of things on the NASCAR 06 custom schedule season. Races number 5 and 6 still early in the year. Coming into this doubleheader, two 50% races at two very different racetracks. And the first one will be at the Tricky Triangle at Pocono, with race 2 being at the Monster Mile at Dover and Dover, Delaware. Like, subscribe for more daily NASCAR content if you are new to the channel and have not done so. We will be doing live commentary for tomorrow's NASCAR Cup Series race, the round of 8 opener in the South Point Casino 400, and that will be taking place at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the channel tomorrow afternoon. I'll be doing live commentary for that, and we'll be doing some commentary tonight for our set of races. Again, with this being two 50% races, these races are going to flow by very quickly. Sense of urgency will be on from the go. This is a season-long points format, and even though we're early in the year, what you do early in the season will contest and matter just as much as what happens at the end of the year, as there is no separation of points, no dividing anybody from one another in the standings as well. So have to get on a roll early, and our driver Greg Biffle has done just that. 3 straight wins, and he led the most laps in each of the 4 races so far this season. The only one he didn't win was the Daytona 500, in which, with 90 laps to go in the race, after already leading the most laps with 60 laps led, he unfortunately had blown an engine while leading. So who knows, maybe he finishes that race and he wins the first 4 races of the season. Needless to say, he's won the last 3. He's climbed himself out of the hole, as now he is in the points lead for the first time this year, but only by 31 points. So it's still very, very slim as we come into this first race of the evening. We'll be starting at the rear of the field in race 1. No practice or qualifying for this race. We will qualify at Dover, but there will be no practice for that one as well. So this is going to be very tough to see if Biffle could keep the win streak alive through both races today, but needless to say, let's find out if he can do so. Again, like, subscribe, let's get into this one. Mark DeMars, Emily Gangdadine, and others, welcome into the stream. Thanks for everybody tuning in on this Saturday night. Got the Granger paint scheme for Greg Biffle out for the first time this season. 100 laps at Pocono, the green flag is in the air, and rookie Carl Edwards will lead the field to the green. Alan Barkley, thanks for tuning in also. Pocono is a place that is very, very dangerous. And as we see on the start already, Biffle kind of backing up this first turn. A lot of cars going 2 and 3 wide around him. And off the exit of turn 1, a lot of 3x3 racing going on down this next straightaway. And Biffle's definitely going to take it easy here this first couple laps until he gets used to the race car, the handling of it, in case there's a big wreck in front of him because of how nuts everybody is going right now in the pack. It does not look like a safe place to be at the back right now. Track position's very important at this flat 2.5 mile racetrack. Well, sacrificing that though at the start of today's race. Just trying to stay really low out of harm's way. Scott Wimmer coming all the way down to try and block. Wimmer had a rough day in the New York City street course race last night despite qualifying on the pole. Got in 2 separate incidences, I should say. Accidences isn't a word. I'm well aware what I just said. Casey Mears trying to throw a block. Biffle made 1 pass going into turn 1 on Kyle Petty. There's contact up the track, go a couple cars off turn 2. John Andretti and Joe Nemechek, I believe, got together. They did not wreck, and luckily they didn't because there were a few cars side by side behind them as well. Bottom lane starting to free up a bit in turn 3. Biffle going to turn this car all the way down to the inside. 4 wide now on the long pond straightaways and work back to the start-finish line. Biffle trying to break away from whatever potential side draft is available there. 4 wide, now down to 3 wide by the time they enter turn 1. And Biffle's going to complete a bunch of passes that last lap on the straightaway. Edwards has led the first 2 laps so far from the pole in the early going. More 3 wide racing going on. Biffle getting a good draft off of Boris Said. Biffle pushing tight though in the dirty air. He gets into Jason Leffler, and Leffler gets a piece of the wall. Biffle back down to the bottom, though, in front of the 29 of Kevin Harvick. Forces his way to the bottom in turn 3. Got the Dover Monster racing at Pocono. Wonder if he'll be at Dover as well. A lot of 3-wide racing in the early going. Very much packed together. Little room for error, kind of like the restarts were last night on our New York City street course race, especially towards the end when we had quite a few restarts. Biffle getting tight again. Terry Labonte got up into the wall off turn 2, back behind. Harvick and others had to check up to keep from running into the back of the 44. Lane changing, blocking, and a lot of other things going on right now. True Assassin 86X, thanks for tuning in. Hopefully this stream will make it up to you in some way, Mark. Trying to take your mind off things. Biffle's really tight in turn 2. Great job keeping it off. Jeff Green gets back to the accelerator quick enough to hop back in line in the draft behind Jeff Burton, and Burton leaving a lot of butter open in turn 3. Biffle's car's pretty good in turn 3, better than maybe the other 2 corners altogether. Should be a 2-stop race today, I'd have to imagine. Could be 3 with the accelerated pit window, but I would have to imagine it would be a 2-stop race. Even turn 1, not bad in the handling department for Biffle either. One car slipped way up the racetrack, got really loose, kept it off the wall, but might have checked up that outside line just a bit. Edwards seemingly pulling away at the front of the field. Greg Biffle, Scott Riggs side drafting each other down the second straightaway leading into turn 2. A lot better in turn 2 that time for Biffle. Pulls the bottom a bit more. Had to back the corner up a bit more in the center, though. That's going to allow Sterling Marlin to try to get a run on him, but he's not going to be able to make the pass, and Biffle's going to hold on and make the pass on the car who was on his outside. Now he ducks underneath Shane Meal in the 08. 3 wide off turn 3 again. No Torres, thanks for tuning in. Going to slide up right in front of Martin Truex Jr. Kyle Busch, Bobby Labonte running side by side. Brian Vickers pulling out of line. Maybe trying to make a pass. Big bounce off the curb by Truex as he powers past Greg Biffle. Surprised he held onto his car as well as he did off the curb. That Biffle stuck on the outside lane. Almost turns the 0-0, and he does. Into the wall goes Kenny Wallace. Caution's out. I feel bad for that. I did not mean to do that whatsoever. I was trying to hop back in line on the bottom, and I mistimed it, and Kenny Wallace gets turned into the outside wall. Everybody else misses to the bottom, and a hard crash for Wallace in turn 3. Yeesh. Yoshi Gaming, thanks for tuning in also. So we have a caution. And the field will be pitting, it looks like. First pit stop of the day. 4 tires and fuel on the first caution of the day. Feel bad for, like to apologize to Kenny Wallace and the Wallace family on behalf of that accident. That did not go according to plan whatsoever. Luckily, nobody else was collected in the field. And he's probably going to be a rival now, and I don't blame him for being upset with me on that one. I'm upset with myself. I mean, it was a quick evasive move to try to get back down to the bottom, but I thought I had the clearance, and I just didn't. I just mistimed. If I would have waited a little bit longer, I would have been all right. Wallace actually beat Biffle off of pit road. Gains a few spots back at least. Maybe Biffle potentially lost some spots. We'll see where he restarts. He was mid-pack when the caution came out anyway, and I think he actually gained some positions, and it does look like that because he'll restart in 12th. Green flag back in the air. Edwards wins the race off pit road. We'll head to lap 11 for the restart. 90 to go at Pocono. Single file restart this time around, but they're already jockeying for position in turn 1, and a lot of cars fanning out 2 and 3 wide further back. Mostly double wide, though, through the top dozen. And Jeff Gordon now battling for his first lead of the race underneath Carl Edwards. And I believe he is clear off turn 2. Gordon gives up the bottom lane, and Kurt Busch is going to try to take the lead in turn 3. And he'll do just that. Kurt Busch going to lead his first lap of the race at the start-finish line, as Greg Biffle's already cracked the top 10, despite no qualifying or practice. Rides in line behind the 77 of Travis Quaffle. Looks low into turn 1, trying to make a pass for 9th now. Off the curb on the bottom of the racetrack as Quaffle's really pinching him. Biffle is going to be clear as he pulls up in line, right behind the 42 of Casey Mears as well. Edwards is free-falling. After this restart, he is back to about 4th now. Biffle blocking Quaffle off turn 2 to try to hang on to 9th. That's definitely the corner where Biffle's struggling the most, is in that tunnel turn. Remember, this is a very bumpy Pocono surface, especially compared to what we're used to now. Biffle in the draft. And on the outside of the 42 of Jamie McMurray. A couple other Penske cars around him of Ryan Newman and Rusty Wallace. Oh, Wallace with a block on Newman. Biffle up the middle now all of a sudden. Side draft in the 42 of Jamie McMurray down on the bottom of the racetrack. And he's going to have to let McMurray go. Wallace blocking the bottom now with Biffle. Biffle backing up turn 2, and McMurray to the inside of the 12. Clean Racer, thanks for tuning in. Yeah, I feel bad. It's tough, honestly, and the writing was kind of on the wall about Kurt Busch not being back at 2311, but I personally, myself, didn't want to believe it. I mean, you hate to see that happen. Like your lifehood dream of being able to actually race for a living, you know. And even though his living, at least as far as the money side of things, is more than he's made, you know, a lot of money that he could retire at least, you know, wealthy. But that's not, we're not talking about that though right now with this situation. I mean, what stinks is that his livelihood basically just got taken away from him. And really just the bad year for Kurt Busch, what he's got to be struggling through mentally right now, not just the concussion side of things, but obviously having to deal with this, you know, heartbreaking news for himself and make this decision. Unfortunately, it's been documented, you know, that he's going through a divorce as well, so there's a lot on Kurt Busch's agenda right now that you just got to feel sorry for him and his family, you know, for what's going on right now. So definitely well wishes are with Kurt, and hopefully he can try to get back to recovery and we could see him in a race car down the line, and hopefully we have not seen the last of Kurt Busch on the racetrack, because you hate to see careers get cut short like that just out of the spur of the moment, really. Greg Biffle looking all the way down to the bottom of the racetrack right now. Jamie McMurray in the 42 car all the way down there with Biffle. He's blocking And McMurray goes all the way up the racetrack now. Overdriving the corner. I think he might have gotten into the wall in turn 1. And that's going to be an easy pass for 4th place for Biffle. Elliott Sadler leading the field right now, coming off a 2nd place finish last night in the New York City Street Course race. Biffle to the inside of Kurt Busch for 3rd. And they all kind of merge into turn 3, it appeared. Biffle way down low. Not side drafting the 97 to Busch that time. Work his way back up. They're all in the draft, though, and Biffle actually lost a lot of time with that. Gordon trying to get back by the 38 car of Elliott Sadler. Gordon moves up just a little bit. Kurt Busch looking underneath him. 3 wide for 2nd off of turn 1. Biffle doesn't have the straightaway speed, though, and they have to fall back in line behind both drivers. Kurt Busch now looking low into turn 2 underneath Gordon again for himself. Side by side for 2nd. They battle enough, it's going to be interesting to see how this is going to work out. Gordon overdrives turn 3, got to the bottom initially. '97 and the 24 side drafting each other up on the outside. I think Gordon's going to have the advantage, though, drafting behind the 38 on the long pond straightaway. But he's still on the outside into turn 1. That's where the advantage goes to Kurt Busch. Big bounce off the curb from Biffle. Biffle just can't get underneath Gordon. Jets Gang 2.0. Luke Lotus, thanks for tuning in. Corner for Biffle, but just nowhere to go. Down on the bottom of the racetrack. Gordon and the 24 blocking all the way down to the bottom. He's going to stay way down low, as is Greg Biffle. Gordon down into the grass, up the track. Oh, into Kurt Busch. They clean each other out for 2nd going into turn 1, and caution's out again. I thought he was entering way too low into the corner like McMurray did, only he ended up into Kurt Busch and both cars into the outside wall for our 2nd caution of the race. Gordon clipped the grass and then went up the track in turn 1 and collected the 97 of Busch as well. And we're under caution. And we'll head to another restart. Biffle going to stay out this time, as is, I'm sure, the rest of the field. They all pitted during the first yellow back at lap number 8. Nobody pitted during this caution, though. And the green flag is going to be back in the air at lap 23. And the whole field is all bunched together again. Biffle on the defense. Newman almost got underneath him on the restart. Gordon to the inside of Sadler. Kurt Busch up high to block Sadler now as he's in the lead. Gordon squeezing the 38 up high. Biffle underneath of Elliott. Into turn 3. 4 cars under a blanket battling for the lead. Biffle with a run off turn 3. Gordon trying to go all the way down and block him. Way down to the inside. Gordon's going to make a mistake again down here in turn 1. That's what Biffle's hoping for. Hopefully Kurt Busch is going to be to the outside of him this time. Into turn 1 they go. Up the track. Oh, goes Biffle. As well as Gordon. Gordon went way further up the track, though, than the 16. And Kurt Busch actually got squeezed by his teammate. And now Biffle is out in front trying to block Elliott Sadler, and he just stuffed him in the wall. Biffle desperately trying to hold on to the lead. Momentum broken, and here comes Newman. Everybody's racing like it's the last lap of the race. Newman with the dive. Can't get under the 16, and Biffle holds on to the lead, and this will be 5 bonus points for himself, leading the first lap of the race. Took 24 laps, but he's out in front. Draft is going to make it pretty difficult for himself to try to pull away. We'll see if he can do it. Intimidated Gordon without using an Intimidator button. Yeah, pretty much. Biffle gave up the bottom. Ryan Newman is there. Little door bang. Heading into turn 3. Sadler almost took it 3 wide. Contact up into the wall goes Newman and Biffle. Sadler squeezes the 16 into the wall as well as he had nowhere to go with Edwards underneath him. Biffle's losing a ton of time after that contact with Newman. Killed all of his straightaway speed. Johnson almost getting up into Casey Kane now. Oh, Biffle clipped the grass. Overdrove it just a bit. Man, Biffle's lost a ton of time over the last lap or so. I just stuffed Newman, or Waltrip in the wall. Biffle can't get off of it. Driving like a madman right now. Not intentionally either. Does RCR still go to 3 cars? If they do, I don't think it's going to be full-time. I could see Austin Hill or Sheldon Creed making some part-time starts next year, honestly. I don't see them running the full season, though. They don't have that much experience right now. Biffle up into the wall in turn 2. Greg Biffle is struggling with the race car all of a sudden. Ever since he got it in the wall when Newman, I don't know if he tried to block him or just overran the corner, and then that led to the contact between the 16 and the 12. Martin slips up the track a bit. Held clear, though, on the 15 of Michael Waltrip. Contact. Waltrip moves Martin in turn 2. That was a dangerous play. Oh, contact in 3 now. Johnson up into the 9 of Casey Kane. Trying to block her, just got force Harvick into a mistake down here, just like with Jeff Gordon. Harvick gonna go up the racetrack, and he cleans out Martin, and Martin's into the wall hard with the rear bumper of the car. Back across the track goes the 6, and we're under caution for the 3rd time. That was a much worse crash. Nobody... Man, Martin hit hard. Then he came back down. Oh my gosh, up and over goes Mark Martin. After contact with Brian Vickers on the way back down the racetrack, Harvick clipped the grass. Oh, look at that. That's a wild ride for Mark Martin. Cars scattered everywhere across the track. I think I saw Dale Jarrett back into the wall as well. That was a vicious accident. And we have yet another caution in this race. We'll see if the field's going to pit this time. And they do not. So Biffle will stay out as well to hold on to the track position. It is an ugly race at Pocono so far as hits go. That was a wild ride for Mark Martin. We might be having some debris cautions after that one. Our 3rd caution of the race. I was hoping to force him into a mistake again, but that's the 2nd Roush car that's gotten taken out by a Chevrolet trying to make a dive to the bottom. Now, oh, and now Stewart about took out the 16, and he's up into the wall. Oh, they're wrecking big in turn 1. I think Rusty Wallace got turned when Stewart came back down the track as well. Stewart clipped the grass and then got up into Biffle, and cars were scattering everywhere. There goes a 2 up the track. Field splits around Stewart. Jeremy Mayfield involved. Kudos to some of the cars at the back of the pack for missing that. We'll try it again. What is going on at Pocono today? I was not expecting this. I imagine the field's going to stay out again. They just stayed out the last restart. We only made it 1 corner. Not even 1 corner. That move did not work for Stewart. He clipped the grass, I think, just like we've seen with some other cars. And just ended up into Biffle. Biffle did a great job hanging on to it himself. Green flag back in the air. Biffle didn't take off well. Ricky Rudd trying to get to the bottom. Not going to happen. 37 laps and already 4 cautions. Mentioned there was going to be a sense of urgency with this being a 50% race today. That is definitely the case right now. It's a good thing Biffle's gotten 1 lap let in at least. It's going to be tough to make it 4 wins in a row today. He's got speed in the race car, but it has been a struggle. And at least the 16 is staying with his car clean one way or another. I'm surprised Mark Martin's still in the race after that flip in turn 1. Biffle down onto the curb. 3 wide for 3rd. Off of turn 1. Really fanned out. Are they going to make it into turn 2? One of the tightest corner on the racetrack. Biffle down underneath the 29. Kevin Harvick trying to side draft him. Not going to be able to do that enough. He is clear of Mark Martin at least. Hops back in the draft behind Kevin Harvick. Biffle holds on to the curb that time. A lot of the Roush cars, though, up in the top, what, 14? 4 of them? Only one that's not up here is Kenseth. Caution again. Turn 2. Number 5 already in this race. Just imagine if this was a 200-lap Pocono race. Debris off Jason Leffler's number 11 FedEx Chevrolet. Not sure what piece of his race. Oh, 1 car hit hard. Who was that back there that nearly flipped in turn 2? I think somebody ran over the debris and just slapped the wall extremely hard. Biffle's going to pit here. We'll see. Yep, everybody's going to pit. All right. Well, everybody's going to hit pit road again. 4 tires and fuel. Following our 5th yellow and first for debris. I want to know who that car was that blew the tire in turn 2 after running over the debris. They hit hard. Luckily, there's a safer barrier in the corners. That was Shane Meal. Good grief, we've seen a lot of hard hits in this race. Some violent crashes. Some big crashes and numbers. A unique Pocono race to say the least today. And not just because of the race length. Oh, Boris Ed coming into the pits. Biffle had to check up. That's going to cost him some time. Despite it looked like it was a good pit stop itself. Well, we'll try it again. We've had 5 cautions. We haven't even made it 50 laps. And the green flag is going to be back in the air again at lap 43. And Edwards again wins the race off pit road. Second time he's done so. That 99 crew's got some good stops for themselves going on right now. Jeremy Mayfield trying to get down to the bottom. He's in the grass. He's going to go up the track. And, oh, 3 cars around. Gordon and Sed as well. Biffle went down to the grass just to block him. They're all wrecking. Gordon, innocent bystander, he hit head on. Sed hit with the right side of his car. And Jeremy Mayfield with the bonsai move that did not work, as we've seen many times today. I don't know what to make of this race. I mean, this is something else. Let me tell you. Biffle has to protect when he's not making contact when he's making the block, so they're clean blocks. They're going to have to lift at some point or another. It looks like Matt Kenza took the lead right before the caution came out, so that's another Roush Fenway Ford to lead in this race. 6 cautions already today at Pocono. Oh, 1 car down to the bottom. Biffle gets clipped, trying to make a late block. I think Boris Sed got into him, and now he's on the outside 3 wide. Off of turn 1. Not where he wants to be right now, I'll tell you that much. Really wants to get to the bottom, and I don't think he's going to be able to into turn 2, and there's still 3. Will contact with Gordon. Oh, and now Biffle just gets turned. The 77 goes for a little bit of a slide. I mean, Biffle was just sandwiched there. He had nowhere to go. 19 got into his rear bumper. The 77 goes for a slide but hangs on to it. And we have another caution at Pocono today. What a wild race. Bonita Luna, thanks for tuning in. Well, we're halfway. 7 cautions in 50 laps. Dale Jr. now the one behind Biffle. Jr. in the grass. He clips the 16 now. These guys can't even make it a corner all of a sudden. What is this, NASCAR 22? My goodness. I mean, there's nothing Biffle can do right now to help himself in this situation. This is absurd. Regine Huddleston, thanks for tuning in. Wow. Another restart. Junior staying high this time. That might actually help Biffle. Casey Mears up the middle. Not really going to work. They're going to survive. They're going to make it 1 corner on the restart, it looks like this time. It is a miracle. They have wrecked in turn 1 on restart 4 times of the 7 cautions we've seen today. 8 cautions now after that last one. I don't think we're done yet either. Still outside the fuel window to make it to the end of the race. Fuel window's accelerated, so I don't think we can go more than 30 laps on fuel, to be completely honest. With this being a 3-stop race, even with all the yellows. I have to gauge when the right time is to pit. We still have another race in this stream after this, and that will be at Dover. Biffle back in the 18th place position right now. Really needs to get going again. 3 wide in turn 1 up ahead. Biffle squeezing underneath Boris Said and Travis Quaffle. Tim Irvin, welcome into the stream. It's going to be tough to pick these spots up. We'll say it seems like most of the cars in the field do have damage of some sort. Except for maybe some of the drivers at the very front of the field maybe don't. Said, creeping up, slight contact with the 77 to Quaffle. Quaffle getting booted by the 16, and that's Said with a bad block, and he's going to make contact with the 16 as well. Biffle going 3 wide, under Boris Said, Travis Quaffle. Trying to hook the curbing. Clears both cars for 16th. Good pass for the Biff. I think you meant to say that NASCAR's in trouble, but I mean, as far as the next gen car, it's been well documented. There's definitely a lot of things that need fixed during the off season, and I don't think they're going to be able to get to all of them. It's going to be a process that's probably going to take a couple years to completely overhaul. Kind of shot themselves in the foot with the decision to maybe rush the race car to try to get it on the racetrack as soon as they could, and the racing aspects on short tracks and road courses, and of course the safety concerns, as well as maybe some of the financial side of things with the car itself definitely need overhaul, and then some other stuff going on financially as well that have nothing to do with the actual race car itself. Just with the overall business model, owning a cup team. Owners are kind of up in arms about, but it's interesting, but for all the wrong reasons if you're a NASCAR fan or really a racing fan in general that wants to watch racing on TV every week. Biffle just ran his 2 fastest laps of the race, the last 2 laps. Been in traffic the entire race. Really. I think Tyler Reddick qualified on the pole earlier today. I'm not sure where Truex qualified. I haven't looked at the order yet. I had to work, as usual, on Saturdays. It's going to be tough for the 16 car to try to get this 4th consecutive win. He's still going to go for it. It does look like a Roush car is up at the front trying to win the race. Nevertheless, it's Carl Edwards, the driver who actually competed for the win last night in the New York City street course race late with Biffle, but got in an accident. Ended up 24th. Had to pit due to severe damage late. Greg Biffle going 3 wide in this first turn, trying to make some passes. Dale Jarrett and Ricky Rudd. Hops back in line behind Jarrett, side drafting the 25 of Vickers, who is on his outside. Vickers into the wall a little bit on the top. It's going to allow Biffle to clear. Biffle still underneath Rudd as well. Looking to make the pass on him in turn 3, and he will for 12th. So Biffle's slowly moving his way through the field. Still 39 laps to go. That's a lot at Pocono. Overall, if he could just get out of this first race of the doubleheader with the points lead still, I think he'll be all right with that. Means he's going to have to finish in a few positions of the top spot. Walking Ricky Rudd all the way down to the bottom of the racetrack that time. Probably not going to have any field passes in this first race just because of all the chaos that's ensued so far. We've had 8 cautions in this race already. And again, I don't think we've seen the last. I've not seen this much aggressiveness from the AI on this game, probably ever. Considering this is just a 50% race and we've seen as many yellows as we have. Again, this was supposed to be a 500-mile race, reduced to 250 miles. With this being the first of 4 50% races of the season. This was a full 500-mile race. I mean, we might be well on pace to breaking the NASCAR record for the most cautions. Only night off, worked 60 hours this week. Well, enjoy it. You earned it. Biffle squeezes under Jarrett. Jarrett really trying to pinch that 16 car off. And Biffle clears barely. He was committed to clearing, and luckily he was able to. Big block down to the bottom in turn 2. Biffle getting a little air loose from the 88. But holds on to it. Corey Free, thanks for watching as well. Jarrett putting a lot of pressure on Biffle. Biffle's not close enough to be able to draft off of the cars in front of him. He's trying to desperately catch Mark Martin. This car is definitely lacking straightaway speed. Jarrett trying to get back around the 16, turn 2. Squeezes underneath him. He's going to be able to make this pass, it looks like. Good pass by Jarrett. Clean one at that. Biffle maybe going to have to just work with Jarrett, honestly. Do some shared draft down the straightaways. At about 35 laps to go in this race right now. Big move by Biffle down to the curbing in turn 1. Not going to be able to clear. Jarrett with the run and momentum up on the outside. Biffle again will follow. Blub, thanks for tuning in. Biffle's average finish through the first 4 races at 11.2 coming into this race at Pocono. Briscoe definitely the underdog story of the playoffs so far. Biffle again to the inside of Jarrett. Jarrett squeezing that 16 car down the track a little bit again. Ricky Rudd up on the outside. Biffle overdrives the corner. With contact with Rudd. And Ricky gets by, hangs on. Good job by Rudd keeping it off the wall that time. Down to just 34 laps to go at the tricky triangle. Ricky Rudd getting a little loose. Rudd's got to run as well, looking to the inside of Dale Jarrett. Biffle going to go with the 21 car. Rudd staying low enough for Biffle to try to draft again, and into turn 3, Biffle going to complete the pass, it looks like, on Dale Jarrett for 12th again. Ricky Rudd up to 11th. Thanks for the $4.99 super chat, Tim. Thanks for being a NASCAR YouTube streamer, King Dog. Hey, no problem. I appreciate that. very much. Appreciate you coming back, watching. You're definitely one of the original subscribers, original fans of the channel. So great to see a lot of the both new faces, but the old faces that stick around week in, week out as much as they possibly can. I greatly appreciate that. You guys are the backbone of the channel. Biffle's just really tight in turn 2 right now. He's loose when he has a car tucked up underneath him, but he's really tight otherwise. Kensington led on the restart, falling back a little bit. Biffle trying desperately to get back to Ricky Rudd. Clean air, the 16 car is a little better in turn 2. Not good enough. The one car peeling into the pits off turn 3. And more cars further back outside the top 10 also pitting, so I believe that fuel window is now open to the end of the race. That likely being the case. If you're Greg Biffle, I think you have to pit very soon. Just in case a caution comes out. We'll see how many of those cars go lap down first. I think Biffle's within range. He should be able to stay on the lead lap if he does pit soon. It's 3.9 seconds off the lead from teammate Carl Edwards. And may have to consider doing something very drastic when it comes to the strategy here. Maybe a potential 2-tire stop out of Greg Biffle. The way the run is looking right now. 4 seconds off the lead. He's a couple tenths slower lap, it appears. Luckily, he was able to get around the cars that were cycling up out of the pits. There are definitely some cars going a lap down that are hoping everything cycles through. Gain some positions out of that and also stay on the lead lap. 3-wide battle, it looks like, into turn 2. They made it through the corner. Now the 3-wide in turn 3 just up ahead as well. Biffle trying to stay in it as much as he can right now. Yeah, I'm gonna pit this time. It's gonna be a 4, well, maybe not a 4-tire stop. I think we're gonna gamble. And we're gonna go for track position, so Greg Biffle is gonna go fuel only. During this upcoming pit stop, and he will pit this time by off of turn 3. Got to get down to pit road speed. Can't have a speeding penalty. He does not. So it'll be fuel only, no tires for Greg Biffle. A big, big gamble. They're going to try to find a way to get this 16 car to the lead one way or another and have a shot to win this race. Potentially late. Yeah, I talked about Kurt Busch's retirement earlier from full-time racing. Hopefully we can see him back in a car some way, shape, or form so this injury doesn't completely end his career at all costs. But it's definitely tough to see, you know, an athlete that has worked so hard over their career to get to where they're at right now and to have it come to an end short, no matter how long their longevity in the sport was leading up to it. And it was kind of hard listening to parts of that press conference earlier. I didn't see it live, but I did see it on, or listen to it at least on my way home. And I definitely can hear the pain and anguish in Kurt's voice at times about having to step away, that he definitely wasn't ready for it. And I don't think you're completely ready for it one way or another, but definitely in the injury side of things, I don't think athletes are ever ready for something like that to happen, even though in the back of their mind they know it could happen. Until it does, you just never think it's going to be you. I kind of briefly touched on it, and I don't like, talking about like family stuff or whatever, but he's been going through a lot this year too, because I think, if I remember correctly, he kind of broke the news waves early in the season that he was going through a divorce with his wife as well. So, I mean, that's just, it's not good for mental health, not only because of the concussion side of things, but, with stuff going on with his family right now too. Got to be a whole whirlwind of emotions going on in Kurt's head over the last few months. Yeah, Cup Series for 20 years. Made his first start in 2000. So I think for track position purposes, fuel only should work for Greg Biffle, but I don't know if the tires are going to hold on and allow him to actually run a pace quick enough to hold on to the lead, but we're going to see. It's like Casey Kane's leading for the first time. Bunch of cars in the pits currently. We're about to find out exactly where Greg Biffle's going to cycle. This Granger Ford. One car down on the bottom entering turn 1. That's going to be Carl Edwards in the 99. He's trying to get up to speed. Biffle's not quite going to get to him, it looks like. Edwards still trying to get up to speed, but Greg Biffle on older tires I don't think is going to have anything for him, so he went fuel only. He was 4.4 seconds off the lead when he pit, but it just doesn't look like he's going to have the pace to keep up with Edwards. So Edwards looking like he's going to be the leader once everybody else hits pit road. There's still 16 cars that are either on pit road, haven't exited, which looks like there's only 3 in the pits right now. So about 15 cars still have to hit the pits yet before the end of this race. Maybe a little less than that. We've seen 8 cautions today. It'd be kind of interesting to see if this actually stays green to the end. If it does, it's going to be a 56-lap green flag run, or sorry, 46-lap green flag run to the finish, which would definitely be the longest of the race. We'll say for older tires, the car's handling well, at least in clean air. You can just see how quickly Carl Edwards is pulling away from Greg Biffle, though. Casey Kane's still out there on the racetrack. Had a lot of different leaders today. Why not try to log in as many laps as he possibly can, led? Caution comes out, though, that's really going to hurt him. It's going to trap a few cars a lap down, but there's going to be quite a few that are still in the lead lap that would cycle out ahead of him. Casey Kane on his way in now. A lot of the cars behind him also coming in. We'll see if anybody else will stay out. It doesn't appear that that is the case. Sadler back in the lead briefly. I'm not sure if he's going to lead at the start-finish line or not, but looks like Mark Martin might actually lead a lap. This would be his first lap led of the race, if I'm not mistaken. Had a vicious wreck. He flipped earlier in the race. He's lucky to still be running. Let alone as high in the running order as he has. We'll watch those cars coming out of the pits. We'll see where Edwards will cycle. We'll see where Biffle's going to cycle with those other cars. Kasey Kahne on the bottom. Biffle had to go high into turn 1. Barely kept it off Kahne and barely kept it off the wall. Jimmie Johnson in line right behind the 16 as well. Biffle trying to share draft off of Kahne. Biffle over driving turn 2, trying to stay in front of Jimmie Johnson. Johnson gets around him. Kevin Harvick to the outside in turn 3 as well, as Biffle's just trying to hold on for all he can in case we get a caution. Maybe he can get a jump on a late race restart, who knows. Harvick in the wall off turn 3, Newman to the inside of him now. .21 laps to go at Pocono. Biffle just down low trying to protect the bottom. Newman completes the pass on Harvick. Gordon closing in on the 29 and the 12 as well. A little squirrely into turn 3. He's asking for a lot of laps out of his tires with the accelerated pit window as well. We'll see if he can actually hang on to the very end. 20 to go. Gordon coming with a run, potentially 3 wide to the bottom into the first turn. What a pass for Gordon if he could actually complete it on both Harvick and Newman, and he does. Had the momentum on the long pond straightaway, took advantage of it on the inside, and now Gordon's up to 6th. Biffle trying to throw a late block on Gordon down to the bottom in turn 2. Gordon up the track. Oh, hard into the wall. Goes the 24. Gordon hit the curb and went up the track, and we have a caution for the 9th time. After a longest green flag run of the race, Gordon hard into the outside wall, collecting Newman. Kenseth involved. Gordon almost upside down. He gets pinball around by Dale Jr. as well, further back. There were cars coming off at turn 2 that probably didn't even see him. At speed, trying to slow down as soon as they got word that the caution was out, but it was too late. We have a late race caution with, what, 20 to go? It's going to make things interesting. Biffle going to be in 5th on the restart. And we'll head to that said restart right here, right now. Green flag back in the air. 16 laps to go. Gordon getting blocked by Biffle. Biffle just trying to get up to speed right now. Edwards going to lose the lead to Elliott Sadler at the front of the field. Trying to get to Kasey Kahne. Might be a little too far back. Biffle did not take off well on these older tires. Holds on in front of Harvick in the 29. Edwards is losing a lot of time. He was in the lead by quite a wide margin when the caution had come out, but now loses 3 spots, and he's back to 4th on the restart. 15 laps to go at Pocono. Well, loose into turn 1 goes Biffle. Few cars up the track in the first turn. I see Jimmie Johnson up to 2nd. Edwards got back around Kasey Kahne for 3rd. I was wondering, I thought I heard somebody with a part flapping right now, and it's... Can't tell who that is exactly, actually. Mark Martin in the 6. Probably about to shed some debris from that hood. So Biffle just trying to survive right now until potentially that debris caution comes out for Martin. Tires are worn out on the 16. Yeah, it's in the thumbnail. 50% races today. I don't clickbait. Caution for debris, I would have to imagine, on the front straightaway. And with 13 to go, we have yet another caution. It's not for Mark Martin either. It's actually from Matt Kenseth in the 17, who's got some heavy damage from that last wreck. So we'll have yet another restart. Biffle on the older tires just trying to survive. Didn't lose any spots that last time. And we're going to have even less laps to go following caution number 10 in this 50% race at Pocono. Into the restart we go. Green flag back in the air. 10 laps to go. Martin still got pretty heavy debris on his car. Biffle trying to stay with Casey Kane as much as he can right now in the share draft. Into the first turn they go. I don't think we've seen the last of the debris yet. Biffle trying to block Kurt Busch in the 97 car. Down into turn 2, Biffle gets a little loose, walks up the racetrack, 3 wide behind him. Coming to 9 laps to go this time by. Contact, Kurt Busch gets into Greg Biffle. He's running him up the track. Both cars are around. Kurt Busch definitely goes around. That costed Biffle some positions, I think, for the caution came out. I think Kurt Busch just overdrove the corner, and once he got on the 16, he couldn't get off of him. And we have yet another caution tonight at Pocono. My goodness. Our 11th yellow of the race, and Biffle did lose 3 spots there, unfortunately. And he's just going to have to try to survive and hang on to as many positions as he can late. Didn't do anything wrong there and lost a few positions. Green flag back in the air. Six to go. Big block on Dale Jarrett. What a move by Jarrett. He passed like 3 or 4 cars on the restart. 7 cars all in front of Greg Biffle right now. Will we stay green to the end, or was this the final? Nope, it was not the final restart. I see debris flying way up in the air. We'll have yet another restart, our 12th caution. And that was Mark Martin's hood that we saw flapping a little bit ago. The right front fender is gone too. I think he shedded 2 pieces of debris at once. It looked like the field was running over his hood as well. Michael Turner, thanks for tuning in also. Well, we're going to get one more restart. I'm not sure if this is going to be a green-white checker or not. If it is, this will definitely be the last chance. Green flag back in the air again. 2 laps to go at Pocono. Will this be the last restart? No cautions on the final lap if we get there. Oh, Edwards got a little loose up off turn 1. Biffle holds on to 8th at least. He just can't take off well. And being on older tires is definitely hurting him. Wasn't great on restarts today before that, but tires are definitely disadvantaged as well. He'll be coming to the white flag this time by. Harvick drives it in really deep. Biffle driving it in deep into turn 3 as well. Trying to find a way to catch the cars in front of him. 7 cars battling for the win. Edwards leads to the white flag. Can Carl Edwards get his first career win at Pocono in his rookie season and become the 3rd different winner in the early going of the season as well? Harvick goes up the track. Jimmy Johnson looking to pass him for a spot. So it's showing Greg Biffle in 8th. I don't think there's that many cars in front of him. So it'll be interesting to see where he actually gets scored when he crosses the checkered flag, because I'm counting him in 6th right now. Kurt Busch is back up in position right behind Biffle, 3 wide out of the rear view of the 16. Johnson and Harvick continue to go back and forth. One car has blown an engine further at the back off turn 2 and has lost a bunch of spots. And off turn 3, checkered flag in the air. It is going to be Carl Edwards' first career win for Edwards in the 5th race of the season, as he'll win at Pocono. 4 races in a row for Roush Fenway Racing. To go to victory lane in 2 hours, 41 minutes to get this race done. Despite it being just a 50%er, we still have one more race coming up for you guys on the stream. 12 cautions for 36 caution laps, and 36 laps under yellow of the 100 in this race. Edwards started on the pole. He won. He led the most laps. He dominated through all of the craziness that was going on behind him most of the day. Elliott Sadler finishes 2nd, ran there for a large portion of the day, led 15 laps as well. So back-to-back 2nd place finishes for Sadler. Jimmy Johnson finishes 3rd with a few laps led. Casey Kane 4th. Kevin Harvick will end up finishing 5th. Greg Biffle in 6th with just 1 lap led, but he did get 5 bonus points, so a good run for the points leader. Kurt Busch ends up in 7th with 3 laps led. Mike Bliss with another top 10. I think that's 3 in a row for him. Mark Martin finishes 9th after flipping nonetheless and shedding debris there late also. And then Jeff Gordon rounds out the top 10 with 7 laps led of his own. Our other teammate, Matt Kenseth, had damage. He shedded debris late from that last accident we saw with about 20 to go. He led 8 laps. Newman really fell back, finished 34th with 11 laps led. Quite a few drivers, actually everybody finished the race. Jason Leffler was the car that ended up blowing an engine, it looked like, on that final lap. He had severe damage from earlier in the race. I'm sure that resulted. But he did make it back to the checkered flag at least, but ended up finishing it last anyway, so it didn't really matter for him. This might be the first time everybody's finished a race. And it was in a race in which we saw 12 cautions in a 100-lap event. 18 lead changes, 1/10 of a second margin of victory, 92.84 miles per hour was the average race speed. But congrats to Carl Edwards getting that first win of the season. And I think we actually get to see Edwards in victory lane with him being a teammate. What a win. Cousin Carl. And 4 of the Roush cars in the top 10. Had a lot of them up towards the front for a large portion of the day, but it was Edwards who dominated. Next race will be at Dover on this stream, another 50% race on the season. And we will check out the point standings before we get into that race. If you give me a quick moment as well, I'll also put the point standings at the top of the screen for the start of race 2. Edwards is in 2nd in points. He gains, 5 spots after being 7th coming in. He lost the points lead, fell back to 7th. A max points day gets him right back into 2nd and only 20 out of 1st. Biffle still holds on to the points lead, leading 1 lap, just enough for 5 bonus points. And he was able to finish 6th, so good run for the Biff. Edwards ended up 2nd. Elliott Sadler is 3rd in points now. Dale Jarrett's still in the top 5. He's having a good start to the year. Mike Bliss is in 9th in points right now, having a great start to the year as well, for potential another underdog season for him like he had in season number 1. So quick little break here, and then we'll get on with race 2. And I will qualify for that second race, and you'll get to see it right here on the stream, but I'm going to work on getting the points up on the top of the screen for right now. So bear with me for a quick moment. Oh, that ain't it. Just gonna put the top 10 in points up there. For those of you wondering about how I might be at Dover, I usually don't run well here on this game specifically. The other EA Sports games, I've had good runs at Dover in the past. Not so much on this game. In the Busch Series, I kind of have that car figured out. But the Cup Series and the Truck Series at Dover, on the other hand, not so much. So we'll see how this is going to work itself out. It is only a 200 lap race, so that might actually help me. I hope. I hope it helps me. And hopefully we don't have another race like we had at Pocono there. That was a wild race. We'll see if this one's a little more tame.
Just 9 races remain in the chase for the next Bell Cup, and today the series starts with a track where a season of hope has come to a crashing end. They don't call the Dover International Speedway the monster for nothing. There's a reputation earned by years of snatching victories from some of the best in the business.
All right.
Today, every mile and moment matters.
So we will qualify.
400 miles of heartaches and headaches, and just one winner. The driver who somehow managed to defeat the monster at Dover.
I really hope I have the right setup in the race car. I hope. We'll have the Granger paint scheme again. I kind of meant to switch it back to the Subway colors, but oh well. Gonna need a quick time. Track position mattered at Pocono. Biffle didn't have it at the start. Hopefully he can have it at the start of this Dover race. That was our only trip to Pocono on the season as well, and I believe this is my only trip to Dover on this custom schedule season as well for the Cup side. Green flag in the air for the 2 qualifying laps to try to set the quick time for Greg Biffle. Cannot hit that apron at all costs. Having practice, it's going to be very tough not to do so. Pretty good opening lap of qualifying though for Biffle. And he's got the pole with a 22.432 on lap 1. So Biffle out in front for his starting spot by just 5/1000ths of a second. He got the pole over Jimmy Johnson, Dover dominator throughout his NASCAR career. Green flag is going to be in the air. We're underway for the second race of our doubleheader tonight at the Monster Mile. Biffle already blows the first turn. He about hit the apron, kind of second-guessed himself, and now he's up in the wall with Kenseth on his inside. Oh, contact trouble, left turn 4. Junior's around, contact with Jeff Gordon. Opening lap caution between the Chevrolets of Dale Jr. and Jeff Gordon. Gordon was in the wall when Junior made contact with him already, but I think Junior kind of ran him up the track. Biffle got on the brakes in time because that happened right in front of him. Did a great job not running into his teammate Matt Kenseth as well in front of him. Well, that's a wild first lap. We're picking up where we left off at Pocono. And Jimmy Johnson is going to lead the opening lap of the race, I do believe. The low is 48. Yep. And his teammate Vickers is in second. Green flag back in the air. Good launch on the restart for Biffle. Diving underneath Kyle Busch. He'll make the pass for 8th into turns 1 and 2. And Johnson will lead the first green flag lap of the race, as the field will make it through that lap. Junior's still stuck on the outside right now. Biffle underneath him. Oh, will contact. Junior's up into the wall. I don't think he appreciated that, but we're going to act like nothing happened. He did try to turn me at Pocono, I will say. So that's why he's upset, by the way. That's why he's a rival in the first place. Car might even be a little too tight for Biffle, but I'd rather have it tight than loose at this track because I do not want to hit that apron at all costs. If I can get a top 10 at Dover in the Cup Series on this game, I'll take it because I'm usually not that great here. Biffle right in line behind Bobby Labonte. Struggled in the dirty air middle corner. He's going to give a spot back to Kyle Busch, it looks like, off turn 2. Contact up ahead. Gordon getting into another car. In a battle for third. Can't tell who that is up there. Maybe Sterling Marlin? Kenseth's going to get around that car as well. 1, 2, 3 for Hendrick Motorsports at the front of the field. 48, 25, 24. A lot of field passes to get through in this second race of the evening at Dover without having any in the first race. So with that being said, when we get back to the start-finish line this time by, we'll take our first field pass of the day. We'll start off by going up to the 4th place car of Matt Kenseth in the 17 as Biffle gets to the inside of Kyle Busch for position. Labonte making a pass on Marlin as well. That was the 40 car that was up there. Biffle going to complete the pass further back on Busch and quickly gets to the inside of Marlin off of turn 2 as well, heading down the back straightaway. He's got a nice little run. Going to get to the inside of Gordon off turn 2 as well. Side by side for position heading into 3. Has a side draft on the 24 on entry. Clips the apron and slams hard into the driver barrier. The tire barrier at the front of the pit road. Oh, shades of earlier Kenseth's career when he did that. It was a hard hit. At least it wasn't Biffle that hit the apron. He was side by side in the middle of the corner with Gordon. He had enough room for Gordon. I was hoping I wasn't going to hit that when I was sliding sideways aimlessly. And I mean, he couldn't have hit any harder with the right side of his race car there. That was a big hit for Matt Kenseth. And we'll head to another restart. Fell all the way back to 43rd. I think it caught me for pitting under the caution. Kenseth from 4th to last, just like that. He had a tough race at Pocono despite leading laps middle of the race. Seen some violent hits and already 2 cautions in the early going of this Dover race. 16 laps coming off a 100-lap Pocono race in which we had a bunch of cautions there. Kenseth trying to get some spots back underneath Wimmer. Goes up the track. Contact with Kyle Petty as well. A slide job to get by Petty in 1 and 2. It is dangerous to make passes on this racetrack, as you've seen. I mean, even Junior trying to pass Jeff Gordon earlier, and they wrecked on the opening lap. Go to Mark Martin in the 6 car next. He's stuck on the outside. He's got Casey Kane in the 9 underneath him. Martin getting a little loose on that outside lane. Cut down trying to get in front of the 38 of Sadler. He'll do so. And hangs on to 11th. Shane Beal qualified 9th. I didn't even realize that. Hey, good for him. He didn't have a great day at Pocono, but hopefully his day gets better at Dover for his sake. Trying to make a pass on Kane. got underneath it for a brief moment, then almost hit the apron and just decided to lift rather than risk spinning out. Got to be one of the most, if not the most challenging racetrack on this game. Labonte wiggled. Casey Kane got by him. The mistake's going to allow Mark Martin to make the pass as well. Martin dive bombs underneath of Kane now. Into the corner for 9th, and Martin's got the spot. Biffle gaining ground. He's on the inside of Ryan Newman for 4th currently. Looking to make the pass in turns 1 and 2. Gordon's still trying to get by Vickers. Jimmy Johnson pulling away at the front of the field. 25 car of Vickers kind of holding everybody up right now. Transfer back to the 97 of Kurt Busch in the field. This time by at the start-finish line. We'll see where Busch is at. He's not that far back. He's further back than what I thought. He's in 24th. He will get underneath Joe Nemechek in the 0-1. Just cleared him. Nemechek in the wall off turn 2. Busch did pass him cleanly, though. We're at a 7th place finish at Pocono in our first race tonight. Got a slow car down on the bottom of the track that has blown an engine trying to get the pit road off turn 4. And they'll do so successfully, so we stay green. Looks like Jason Leffler for the 2nd straight race has blown a motor. He was on the last lap at Pocono when he did so. Finished last as a result, nobody else DNFing. And now looks like he's going to finish last at Dover as well. So last place finishes in both races of the doubleheader for the 11 of Leffler. Busch made a pass, by the way, on Terry Labonte that last lap, and he just ran his fastest lap of the race. Paz, thanks for tuning in. Wow, Tennessee beat Bama today. I saw they were up big in the first half, and Bama was kind of coming back on them. I kind of figured Alabama was still going to have it. Keeping track of the score. I didn't watch any of the game, at least. Jeff Green trying to cross Kurt Busch over. A little contact. Somehow both cars kept from wrecking. See contact like that at this tight of a racetrack. I'm surprised it didn't lead to a wreck. We'll go to Carl Edwards in the 99. He's a little loose in the middle of the corner. Dale Jr., Brian Vickers behind him. Wow, big moment for Edwards. Martin gets by on the outside. He holds on right in front of Dale Jr. Vickers also was able to get back by. Edwards was on the inside of him, so did a great job keeping it off of him despite the car getting very aero loose. I think Kyle Busch has just driven up to 2nd place at Kellogg Chevrolet. What a run for another rookie. We just saw a rookie get his first career win at Pocono, and being Carl Edwards, can maybe Kyle Busch do the same in Dover? Maybe it is 2022. Seen some drivers, multiple drivers get their first career wins. Dale Jr. on the inside, Carl Edwards on the outside. Edwards trying to hang on to the spot. Jr. contesting, and Edwards just going to let him go. He's going to drop the 99 back to 9th. Edwards to the inside of Earnhardt. Trying to get him back for 8th. And the 8 car will get past. Junior in that opening lap accident has some damage. Maybe hindering some of the speed in his race car. Oh, Biffle almost making contact with Ryan Newman. A little loose underneath him as well. Trying to side draft Newman off turn 2. Tight battle for position right now between the 16 and the 12. Biffle going up the track. Newman into the wall. Big block on Vickers. Hendrick Motorsports having themselves a day right now. 4 of their 5 cars are in the top 5. Only outliers, Terry Labonte in the 44. He might not be getting the same equipment necessarily that he got when he was in the 5. Jimmy Johnson leads. Kyle Busch second. Jeff Gordon in third. Biffle fourth, but then Vickers in fifth still. Go back to Matt Kenseth again. Like I said, we didn't get any in Pocono, so we're trying to get our fair share of field passes and field swaps in this race. Kenseth brought out that last caution, so that's why he's at the tail of the field right now. Scott Riggs got underneath him, but Kenseth battled hard on the outside. He was able to get back down to the bottom by the time he got into turn 3. Got in front of the 10. It dives underneath Truex, makes a quick pass. Another DEI car, Michael Waltrip right in front of the 17. Not going to be able to get underneath him. He'll just sit behind him. And now we'll get under him off turn 4. Pretty quickly at that, he'll be able to make the pass. McMurray underneath Boris said. Kenseth follows, slides up in front of said, all clear off turn 2. Contact with Jamie McMurray into the corner. Oh man, pinball around was Kenseth 3 wide middle, and now Waltrip gets into him. I don't know how there wasn't a wreck there. McMurray kind of got the shaft handed to him in that. Got up into the wall. Everybody else luckily kept it off the wall. I think HMS is going to be tough to beat in race 2. Might see a 4th different winner, considering none of their Chevrolets have won through these first 5 races. We'll go to Kurt Busch in the 97 next. He's in 19th, trying to work his way forward. Oh no, we finished 6th at Pocono. Carl Edwards won at Pocono. Hi, Stephen King 92 Hammer, thanks for tuning in. Biffle is still the points leader, though, as you see at the top of the screen. Busch going to make a pass for 18th. Marlin was up in 3rd at one point early in the race. He's free-falling quite a bit. Busch underneath the 2 of Wallace. Quickly to the bottom. In turn 1, will contact with Casey Kane. I don't know how Kane got his car back down to the bottom of the track as quickly as he did to stay in front of Rusty Wallace, but he did. Had 2 early cautions in this race, and we've had quite a few near cautions since the restart, which we've gone about 30 laps since the restart. We're probably due. About had one there. Busch slides up the track, clipping the apron. It's actually Mayfield, not Kane, he's battling with, the other Evernham Dodge. Mayfield going to get back by. With a clean pass, nevertheless. So Busch going to try to cross him back over. And he does just that. Kurt back to 16th. And we'll go to Mark Martin in the 6. He's in the top 10. He's up to 8th. Kyle Busch is back to 4th, so that means Biffle's in 3rd, if not in 2nd. Biffle slightly moving forward. I don't think Kyle Busch has great long-run speed. Same kind of goes for Vickers in the 25 because he was in 5th and now is in 7th. Mark Martin flipped and still finished 9th at Pocono. He's had a great start to the season. Outside of one engine failure, he's had a great start to the year. And he just ran the fastest lap of any Roush car that last lap, too. He's got a fast car today at Dover as well. We didn't see him win at all in the first season, despite having 14 different winners, and we'll see if make this pass on Brian Vickers and maybe have a shot to win today's race. He's up to 7th. Contact way up the way. Saw some sparks flying off turn 4. I don't know if that was maybe from Gordon and Biffle or not. You're still putting some pressure on the 6. Martin not budging. We're just going to sit behind Edwards because we're going to actually transfer to Edwards ourselves here next lap. Martin trying to get underneath his teammate. Oh boy, Edwards with a big block in the middle of the corner. Held on to the race car. He had the left sides way down low. Martin again tried to get underneath him. Side by side between the Roush teammates, and now that Martin is underneath him that time, Edwards is going to let his teammate go, and Mark Martin's up to P6. You just have to let him go or you're going to wreck. They get underneath you and you make it halfway through the corner. We've seen both cautions come out so far today off the... Well, one in the middle, but that opening lap caution between Dale Jr. and Jeff Gordon was off the exit of turn 4. Edwards might have a shot to get back underneath Martin this time into turns 1 and 2, and they are side by side again. Ryan Newman also working on Kyle Busch for position up ahead. Wondering how far these guys are going to be able to go on fuel today. Might be just a one-stop race. And Martin back to the inside of the 99. Door to door off turn 4. We'll go to Biffle in the 16 as those two are side by side. Gordon in that opening lap accident with Dale Jr., but Greg Biffle still pressuring the 24 right now. Cars are loosening up just a bit as we get longer into this opening tire stint of the race. The 2 cautions, though, it's going to be very close to a one-stop race. Potential fuel mileage race at Dover with this 50% race. Had a hiccup there right in the middle of me talking. All the way through the different camera angles for the first time in this one. You see the damage on the back bumper of Gordon's race car. Junior got into his left rear. Kind of started that accident a little while back. 60 laps ago already. Gordon got really loose getting into turn 1. Arcs it down in the middle of the corner. Biffle not really close enough to try to put major pressure on that 24. Jimmy Johnson seems to be the car to beat, though, right now. No surprise at this racetrack. But that is the case. Gordon with a big block getting into turn 1. Biffle just kind of sitting behind the 24 again. Biffle really trying to arc the corner off. Returns 3 and 4. He might be underneath the 24 this time into turn 1. Side by side for position. Biffle really side drafted the 24 that time into the corner. And they're still side by side back straightaway into turn 3, and Biffle's up to P2. Remember, Biffle qualified on the pole but never led a lap, and we'll see if he's got anything for Jimmy Johnson. Trying to break up the Hendrick Brigade at the front of the field. The best he can. Very demanding, challenging racetrack, and when there's a sense of urgency with it being a 50% race, like we saw at Pocono, a lot of pressure is on for these guys from the get-go. This is the same length of a truck or a Busch race. This is a Cup Series event, Cup Series points, Cup Series prestige. Great corner by Biffle through 3 and 4 that time. He's closing in on JJ. 2.2 seconds off the lead. He was 2.6 off the lead when he first got around Gordon. I'd say Biffle's dialed in right now. I'd like to get to him before green flag pit stops. That'd be ideal. Oh, well, so much for that. I think Biffle just clipped the tire barrier, much like Matt Kenseth did earlier. So much for being dialed in. Caution's going to be out again. Biffle misses the pits. I don't know if he has a tire down or not. He might have a right front down. It's tough to tell. I'll probably know under the caution. That was a big hit for Greg Biffle. And he's going to stay out. And everybody else is going to pit. Oh my gosh. Everybody pits but Biffle. And he's got damage. This is going to get him some bonus points, but that's not the way he wanted to get the bonus points. Green flag back in the air at lap 70. One car very slow at the tail end of the field on the restart back there. Johnson times the restart out well, and his fresher tires quickly gets by Biffle. I mean, Biffle had no chance there. He went wide, though, too. Way wide. Definitely did not help his own cause, and Johnson's back in the lead. Oh, big wreck! What is going on? 3 or 4 cars flipping in turn 1. Oh my goodness. Jason Leffler was out in the middle of the racetrack, and then the whole field just wrecked. Oh my goodness, have you ever? Oh, I have never seen anything like that. Busch is upside down. Gordon's upside down. Martin's upside down. Johnson flipped. A massive crash. Yeah, we got some cars pitting with damage for sure this time. Holy hellacia. What was that? Never in my life have I seen anything like that on a NASCAR video game. I saw he was slow. There was a car slow on the restart. That has just flipped this race upside down. That's got to be the worst wreck we've seen in channel history. I mean, you want to talk about LePaging the field. That's about as bad as it gets. I mean, I had no clue that was even going to happen. Green flag back in the air after our 4th caution of the race. And everybody that was leading is now at the back. Johnson, Biffle, Gordon, Newman, Edwards. That is unbelievable. Busch leads. He was involved. Martin flipped, but he still... That's 2 races in a row Mark Martin has flipped. He has flipped in both races of our doubleheader today. Biffle lucky to still be running, but now he's at the tail end of the field. We only have 125 laps to go. Some cars have pitted twice, some cars have pitted once, but the tire difference fairly equal. On a track that is extremely tough to pass, as we've seen all night. Mark Martin to the lead after just flipping. He stayed out. He's probably got some severe damage. I have never seen anything like that in my life on a NASCAR video game. I don't know how we're going to continue from that, but we're going to try. I don't even know why he came back out. Remember, he was out of the race earlier. He blew an engine early in the race, and then he just came back in. Yeah, Miles the Monster was on a feeding frenzy there. That's what that was. Miles the Monster was very hangry. I don't know how we haven't seen a debris caution since the restart. Biffle's 3 wide right now into turn 1. Trying to be patient passing cars all day today, but can't be the case right now when you're at the tail end of the field. There's quite a few cars a lap down, though, because Biffle's actually scored in 19th. Contact with Edwards hard into the tire barrier again. That was because of contact with the 99, and I don't think a caution came out. Oh, no, now a caution. The caution is out. Caution is out. I think Edwards got into the 16. You're not going to see it on the replay, but Edwards, I felt the contact. Edwards got into the left rear of the 16 of Biffle and spun him around, and we're going to have a caution. The 99 and the 16 have been getting into each other a little too much here in these last few races. I have to sit down. It'll be an interesting Monday morning meeting at Roush once again. At least Biffle was able to win in New York when it happened the first time. Biffle on his way into the pits here. Go, Brandon. Thanks for tuning in. Wild pair of races today at Dover to say, or today at Pocono and Dover to say the least. Picking up from the last couple of races on the schedule. I knew this custom schedule season was going to be wild. I didn't think it was going to be like this. And we have Talladega, I think, coming up next. Oh my gosh. Biffle pits to repair damage there, and we'll get back to green flag racing here shortly. There it is, green flag back in the air. Gordon not going on the restart. Spun his tires right in front of Biffle. Biffle had nowhere to go. Contact with Clayton in the 171. Biffle blocking Marlin is up. Caution again. Probably debris. And it is. And it's off of Kyle Busch's race car. Remember when Hendrick Motorsports was dominating this race? Jason Leffler will page the field. That has all changed. Biffle's going to pit and try to top off with that caution coming out. Might as well try to go off strategy. At least a little bit in this situation. And he'll take tires with it. Another caution at Dover. We had 12 cautions at Pocono, and we're vastly approaching at Dover. We're not even halfway home in this race. Man, oh man. I'm speechless as to what we have seen over the last 30 laps in this race. That is unbelievable. Green flag back in the air, lap 90 on the restart. Biffle's actually a lap down right now. I don't know how, but he is. Contact with Newman. He makes contact with the wall. Biffle going 3 wide down to the bottom. Risky play. Couple cars up into the wall. Oh, we're about to... How have we not had a caution through all that? Maybe a little too aggressive there. Meanwhile, Dale Jarrett is in the lead. All the smoke in the back straightaway. The contact after that restart. Tyler Burback, thanks for tuning in. 13th in her debut today, not bad. No, not at all. One car in the wall in turns 1 and 2. We're going to go 3 wide underneath him, and I think he's going to file in line. Oh, maybe not. Oh, my gosh. What was that? He just started wrecking on the backstretch, and they straightened each other off and out because Biffle got sandwiched into the wall by, I think, John Andretti or Scott Riggs. I didn't even see what happened. I just saw cars turning into me all of a sudden. I saw a car get up into the wall in the middle of 1 and 2, and I don't know if that maybe caused a stack up on the back straightaway, and they were trying to go low and avoid, and Biffle was already there. But speechless for this race. Is that Ross Chastain in the 16? Maybe. I believe there are only about 18 cars on the lead lap. The free pass position does work in this game, so if we can get up to about that spot in the field, Biffle could get back into this. It has just been a wonky race so far. And I would have to imagine we're probably going to see some cars pit as soon as that window opens up to the end of the race, which may be right around the halfway mark, which we are fastly approaching. Fastly approaching now. It was a slow pace to get there. I've lost count of how many cautions we've had in today's race. I think we've had 8 in this second one. We definitely had 12 in the first. I think we've had 8 cautions in the second race. 2 for debris. That big wreck we had, I think, was the 5th yellow. We had 2 debris cautions after that, and then Edwards and Biffle accident. So I think we've had 8 yellows. Correct me if I'm wrong down in the chat. For those of you that have stuck through it all, appreciate you guys watching tonight. It's been a long night for both these races. A lot of yellows in both. Really nothing of my doing for most of it. Oh, and we got another wreck off turn 2. A couple cars down into the inside wall after Boris said got into the wall. Meanwhile, Biffle gets by Spencer and had to give the spot up to keep it off the wall. We are halfway home now. See the smoke on the backstretch? That was from the lap before. This car's behind Biffle making contact. Nobody wants to short pit right now, and I don't blame them. The way the cautions have been flying at free will in both races tonight. How about Dale Jarrett leading the field, though, right now in the 88 car? UPS Ford for Robert Yates Racing. He did not get a win in our first season. I wouldn't say it's an upset winner considering he's a former champion, but that'd be different to see Dale Jarrett go to victory lane, though, today, and he would definitely be the fourth different winner this season. 4 wins in a row for Roush. That would also mean 4 in a row for Ford, so trying to make it 5 in a row for Ford if Jarrett could go to victory lane. Sadler's got back-to-back second-place finishes. I'm not sure where he's at in this race, but he's got similar speed to his teammate. Maybe he'll have a chance yet. We'll take another field pass here. We're going to go back to Matt Kenseth in the 17 for right now. Got 2 more to get through yet in this race. Kenseth's on the lead lap in 15th. 4.4 seconds off of Jarrett. A lot of pressure from behind from the 48 of Jimmy Johnson. They're both battling for position right now. Yeah, I saw that. BMI got beat. Well, I didn't see it. Somebody else mentioned it in the chat earlier. Saw a notification on my phone, too, last time I checked during one of the recent cautions. Look at all the skid marks on the back straightaway from all the crashes. Good grief. We'll swap to Kurt Busch in the 97 next. It's getting really loose. He holds on to it off the exit of turn 2. A lot of pressure from behind by Kevin Harvick. Now Mike Bliss, a little contact with a late block by Busch. Kurt holds on to his race car, but he's going to lose 3 positions with that bad block. It's underneath Dale Jr. Kevin Harvick in the 29 up high. Really hoping he doesn't take a swing at Busch. It doesn't look like he will. Kurt back up tonight. 90 laps to go at Dover. Junior was underneath Kurt. Kurt up against the wall on the outside. He kept it off Junior. Gonna drop Busch all the way back to 15th. Right around his other teammates. All in the process of trying to keep it off Dale Jr. is what led to that. Busch on the inside of Kenseth. Little slide job, will get that spot back. 14th. Kenseth into the wall off turn 2. Johnson checks up to keep from hitting him. One more lap and then we'll transfer to either Mark Martin or Carl Edwards next. So 99 of Edwards right there up on the outside. Kurt Busch in line behind him on the back straightaway. Edwards down to the bottom, trying to get underneath the 2. Rusty Walls. We'll actually transfer to Carl Edwards next. Oh man, went up the track. 3 wide middle. Contact with Truex. Both cars kept it off the wall. Great driving by the rookie. Both rookies, really, to hang on. Edwards, after winning at Pocono, he's a lap down at 24th as well. Nobody has made their final stop yet. Everybody has to pit once. Edwards just ran the fastest lap from any Roush car today. Edwards on the inside of Jamie McMurray for 23rd. Edwards will have the spot. McMurray pinching him a little bit going into the corner. .187 that last lap as well for Edwards. Back off of it off turn 4. Keep from pounding the wall. We'll switch to Mark Martin next lap. Run with him for 4 laps, and we'll go back to Biffle. A lot of the cars that were up front earlier are a lap down now after Jason Leffler LePaged the field in the first half of the race, which kind of sparked a bunch of these cautions coming out back to back to back. A couple for debris and just restart after restart, finding some accidents. Mark Martin's still on the lead lap despite flipping earlier, and he is in 4th. He was in that LePage accident, which he flipped. Kyle Busch also flipped, and he's in 3rd still. Sadler is looking for 3 straight top 5s if he can get around Bobby Labonte, assuming he's on the lead lap. Martin to the inside of Kyle Busch for 3rd. He's got it. And Busch is in the wall off turn 4, and he's still without a hood. Shedded that debris under one of the cautions somewhat recently. Labonte gets by Busch as well. And Tony Stewart, the Daytona 500 winner, all over the back bumper of Dale Jarrett, looking for the lead as well. It's hard to pass all day today, and both at Pocono and Dover. Harder to pass that car at the clean air, which Jarrett's got right now. So Tony Stewart's just kind of sitting behind him, even if Tony does have a faster car. He's not entirely sure if that is the case or not. Stewart not quite going to be able to get underneath Jarrett that time. Martin closing in. Kurt Busch on his way into the pits. We'll swap to Greg Biffle in the 16. We've got some cars pitting right now, which tells me the window is probably open to the end of the race. Biffle up on the outside. It's getting freight trained right now by a bunch of cars down low. Biffle pitted during that last debris caution, so he can probably go a lot further than everybody else on fuel. So an interesting set of strategies going right now. There were quite a few that pitted during that Jason Leffler accident as well. So we have probably 3 different pit strategies going on as far as who will all pit. Maybe 4, considering that we have drivers pitting as soon as this window is open, which is now to the end. Jarrett holds on to the lead, may have a shot to lead the most laps today. But with just 75 laps to go, it's going to be very interesting to see how all this is going to play out. Biffle to the inside of Waltrip. Not sure how many of the lap cars have potentially pitted already. Up the track goes Biffle, making contact with Waltrip. Both cars kept it off the wall. Biffle completes the pass for 21st. I think there were only 18 cars on the lead lap. There might be even less than that now if some of the lead lap cars have hit pit road. which I know Kurt Busch was on the lead lap, so, I mean, you never know. That was an aggressive pass by Biffle. Caution comes out, he could be in the free pass position. If not, he's going to try to get by Casey Mears here quickly for a spot as well. Mears chattered the front tires into turns 1 and 2. Biffle underneath him as the bottom was left wide open. Not clear of the 41 yet. This is not for a spot. Mears is on the lead lap still as well, as Biffle clears him into 3 and 4. Biffle's got some open room to try to put together his best laps possible. Really hoping he doesn't have to make a green flag pit stop. This track is very difficult to make it to pit road under green flag conditions. Maybe the most difficult in all of NASCAR, both during this 2005 season and even to date. Biffle about halfway on fuel. You know he's not going to make it to the end. He can go quite a ways, but he's not going to make it to the end. Which also means he might not have to put much fuel in the race car. It could potentially go fuel only. Went fuel only at Pocono. Worked for him to finish 6th. He was running 12th before the final sets of pit stops. Kind of fluctuated between 11th to 13th, really. So it did help him. Even with the late race restarts, he was able to survive on 3 or 4 of them to still get that 6th place finish. So it might be more pit strategy for him to get a better finish today. At least to try to get his lap back at all costs. Tony Stewart, the race leader, still on the racetrack. Oh, man. Tough break getting up into the wall off turn 4. Run a car into the wall for a caution as soon as I get that. Not doing that. I try to play this out naturally. All the really fast cars, though, in the same predicament from that Leffler caution. Literally the top 5 all had to pit, pretty much, except for Busch. Stayed out, but he's without a hood. He shedded damage, and then Martin led some laps on that restart as well after flipping, much like Busch. I don't think he shedded any debris, though. Biffle on the inside of the 01 of Joe Nemechek. Riding behind him for a little bit. He'll finally be able to make the pass. Had a good run, was finally committed. So difficult to pass on this racetrack today. Swings a little bit too far wide in turns 3 and 4. Gets back down to the bottom, though. Still somewhat hitting the apex to stay in front of the 01. Not a pass per position. I mean, maybe Biffle's in the free pass position, but we just don't know for sure. That's kind of why we want this to stay green until everybody else hits pit road. And Biffle could go a little bit longer than everybody else because nobody pitted during that last caution except for the 16. Got one car on pit road, a few cars actually back in the pits again. We'll go back to the far chase cam. Down to just 59 laps to go, by the way. Biffle up to 17th with a few cars in the pits. Biffle has led under caution today, but he has not led any green flag laps. Jarrett from the lead is in the pits. Mark Martin still on the racetrack. And back in the lead again. Kenseth's in. Martin will come into pit this time by. Biffle back in the top 15. Earl Arnold Jr., thanks for tuning in. Pull a Carson Hocevar. Park it on the track till a caution comes out. Hope I don't get ran over. Mike Bliss in the lead. And he'll pit this time. Will eventually put Biffle back in the top 10. Dale Jr. still on the racetrack and has to pit yet. Biffle is up to 9th. Looking to pass John Andretti in the 14. We get around him cleanly through 3 and 4. Gordon still on the track yet. Biffle up to 7th, by the way. A lot of cars are a lap down right now. Not sure who's in the free pass position. I'll touch that apron going into 3. I got scared. Just let the car go up the track. Anything to not wreck it. I need a caution, but I don't want to risk DNFing. Lapper coming out of the pits down on the bottom of the track. Merging right in front of Carl Edwards. Junior's on his way in, so is Brian Vickers. Gordon's still on the track, which is going to keep Biffle a lap down still. Junior and Vickers will be a spot next time by at the start-finish line, which will put Biffle in the top 5. Still hasn't quite hit a quarter of a tank of gas left. Still over 50 laps to go. Gordon on his way in. Johnson to the lead. So Biffle's still a lap down. Up the track goes Shane Neal. He brushed the wall in turn 1, but we stay green. Keeps his car under him. 107 on fresher tires. Putting a lot of pressure on Biffle. Newman into the pits now from the lead lap. We'll put some pressure on Carl Edwards. Got to get around him. Clean pass through turns 1 and 2. Edwards maybe going to try to cross the 16 back over. Nope, not quite. Biffle gets back down to the bottom. Almost left it open for Edwards to get under him, but not quite. So Biffle is up to 2nd. That pass on Edwards was 4th position. That would be the free pass if a yellow came out. Jimmy Johnson's the only car on the lead lap in the lowest 48. Which is just truly unbelievable with 49 laps to go. Johnson yet to hit pit road, also on an alternate strategy. Not the same one as Biffle, but he will now pit. So Biffle back on the lead lap, which means he'll also be in the lead this time by. Edwards just came in as well. Biffle finally back on the lead lap, but he's going to need a caution before he hits pit road. This could trap so many cars a lap down as well. Biffle gets by the 44 of Terry Labonte. With the apron, there's Johnson. Lap led at the line. First green flag lap led on the day for Biffle. And took till just 48 laps to go to get it done. Quarter tank of gas left for the 16. We know he can't make it. Nowhere close to being able to make it. This is where we just hope and pray. This is where the caution needs to come out if Biffle's going to want any sort of a shot to win this race. Plus, he can pit and actually have fresher tires than the rest of the field as well, with the few cars that are still on the lead lap. About a 5.6 second lead currently for Biffle. It's like Kyle Busch is back in the pits again. Unless he didn't pit from before, but I thought he did. Considering Biffle's back in the lead, and I thought Busch was on the lead lap originally. Here's the third person that's mentioned Tennessee beating Alabama today. A lot of people are excited for it. Hey, as a Michigan fan, I'm alright with that too, because that just means if Bama beats Georgia in a couple weeks, or a week whenever they play each other, Bama beats Georgia, I think that's a better shot than if Michigan does lose to Ohio State at the end of the season, that Michigan could still get into the playoffs. So I am A-okay with that. That takes a lot of pressure off that game, I'll tell you that much. That's assuming Ohio State stays undefeated too, though. That would be the only way that would work. Because then you're looking at another one-loss team, and Ohio State would have beat us. So we need Ohio State to stay undefeated until we play them in case we lose. And Bama's going to have to beat Georgia. Well, Tennessee could run the table, though, too. Tennessee would have to lose one game also. I'm not sure if they have to play Georgia or not. But if they do... runs the same way. Biffle on these older tires definitely losing time. He had a 5.7 second lead originally. Now it's down to about 5 seconds even at the line this time. 41 laps to go. Johnson and Jarrett have led a lot of laps today. I don't think Biffle's got a shot to lead the most by any means. Least amount of laps he's led in the season by far is 1 at Pocono. He led the most laps in each of the first 4 races, then only led 1 in the first race of our doubleheader tonight, finishing 6th. Just didn't have a car that was able to compete for the win. This race on speed, qualified on the pole, had a shot till Leffler LePage the field. And now he's trapped a lap down and trying to find a way out of it. He's got about 1/8 of a tank of fuel left and hoping for a caution. Ticker tape parade. We've seen 8 cautions today. Probably the longest green flag run of the race as of right now. Who wants to be the yellow? I'm begging. It's definitely going to be a fuel-only stop, so hopefully Biffle can try to stay on the lead lap. That way, if a caution comes out, then he'll take tires. If the caution came out while he's leading, though, considering he's still 4.5 seconds ahead, it would have a little bit more cars a lap down than whoever's in second would be to take the lead. And we don't even know who that driver would be yet. There's some sparks flying up ahead, but no accident there. One car brushes the wall off turn 4 up ahead as well. That wasn't the car that was throwing the sparks. I think that was said that scraped the wall, and Jimmy Spencer potentially that had some sparks flying from under him. I don't know if that was because the 49 of Kenny Schrader gotten into the back of him in the middle of the corner or not. "35 laps to go at the Monster Mile." Spencer gets passed by both Schrader and Said that last lap. Fastest lap of the day by Biffle that last lap, 22.142. As he gets to the inside of Jimmy Spencer. Biffle very low on fuel right now. He's only going to be able to go a few more laps. Still holding on to a 4.3 second lead. 22.081 that last lap. Another fastest lap of the day for Biffle. Maybe he'll get into the 21 second lap barrier. That's even with damage on his car from a couple different accidents earlier. He's got to push it as far as he can, though, in case the caution does wave. Down to 32 laps to go. Sparks from Boris Said's race car. Biffle going to stay out this time by, but I think he's going to pit the following time by with 31 laps to go. So he gets to the inside of Boris Said off turn 4. Another good lap for Biffle. Will Biffle risk it one more lap even? 30 laps to go this time by. He will. All in the hopes of a caution. 30 to go at the line. Greg Biffle with a little contact to the 49. He just ran his fastest lap, too, at 22.056. Biffle will pit this time by, though, for sure. 30 to go. And green flag stops are no easy task to try to get to pit road, not only without speeding, but without wrecking. Biffle slowing the car way down. He'll be coming in. He does not speed. He tried to get all he could, though. It will be just a half a tank of gas for Greg Biffle. It'll be a gas and go. Only stop. Hopefully to try to keep the 16 car on the lead lap. Should be enough to make it to the end. He's only got to go 29 more laps at Dover. 29 more miles. Trying to stay on the lead lap. And there goes Stewart. He's not going to stay on the lead lap, unfortunately. Oh, well, there's the caution. I came up the track just a bit, and that caused a wreck. Caution is out at Dover. Bobby Labonte involved. Sadler, I think, got a piece. Bonnie went straight into the wall. Came up the track just a little bit. I was trying to get up to speed quickly, and just lapse of judgment. That wasn't nearly as bad as LePage earlier, though. But there is some damage on the 16 car. And, well, he might as well pit. Because he's got some severe damage on the race car. That's going to be our 9th caution of the day. Unfortunately, we were already lapped down. Might as well top off and take tires, repair damage. So much for that pit stop. Caution was a lap too late, although it was centered around the 16 anyway. Oh, we'll try it again. Another late race restart in another race this season. We'll have the freshest tires in the field, but he's going to be pretty deep in the field, too. Green flag back in the air. Biffle actually got the free pass during the caution. He was the first car a lap down. At 24 laps to go at Dover. Stewart restarts in the lead. Okay, never mind. Problem is he was at the tail end of the longest line, so he's going to be having to pass every car in the field still. But I guess Biffle back on the lead lap following the restart. I thought if you were involved in the accident, you couldn't get the free pass. Biffle kind of got lucky there. He's gained 3 spots since the restart, all over the back of Brian Vickers. Caution is out again, likely debris. Oh, Biffle just ran it over. Oh, man, I think it might have a left front down. That's not good. It's off Bobby Labonte's race car, our 10th caution of the day. Double digits yet again on the channel this week. Good Lord. In both races today, despite being 50% races, we still hit double-digit cautions. This has been a curse no matter what game I play with how many cautions we've seen. Biffle's going to stay out. He hit the debris. I don't think he blew a tire, though. He needs all the track position he can get. And we're going to have even less green flag laps to try to get to the front. Down to just 19 laps to go. Green flag back in the air. Biffle squeezing himself past the 25 of Brian Vickers. Oh, Casey Mears going up the hill. 3 wide off of turn 2 up ahead. They're getting together. They're stacking up. Biffle staying in the gas. And they're wrecking. Nobody wanted to lift there. There are 3 wide in front of the 16 off turn 2. They stacked up and Biffle didn't lift and ended up turning the 14 of John Andretti, and we have an 11th caution. All these yellows are wasting away some laps. That's less and less laps these guys have to try to make any moves. Biffle's got fresher tires than everybody else, but he can't survive right now. And Tony Stewart will have to restart again in front of his teammate Bobby Labonte. Stewart looking for his 2nd win of the young season, and the first since winning the season opener in the Daytona 500. Biffle gonna spin the tires on the restart. Green flag back in the air. Able to get to the bottom. Kyle Busch had to lift quite a bit. 3 wide up ahead off turn 2 again. Contact from Casey Mears. Biffle's into the inside wall, but they were stacking up even more up ahead. And Greg Biffle's going to get up to 10th despite the hit into the inside wall. I guess him turning left actually worked out. Bunch of smoke off turn 2. Everything that was happening all over the place. I mean, that just gained 9 positions for Greg Biffle. First lap after the restart. We're down to 13 to go. I think Mark Martin is for a spot. The fact that Greg Biffle has rallied this car to a top 10 finish, he might actually keep the points lead out of it. Martin into the wall. Biffle passed it cleanly. Martin didn't lift when he had a chance to keep it off the wall. And Greg Biffle's up to 9th place. With 11 to go, and he's got the freshest tires in the field. Still too far back. He's 2.8 seconds off the lead. Dale Jarrett, by the way, has gotten around both the JGR Chevrolets to get to the lead. After restarting in 3rd. $10 to go. I said at the very start of the race, the top 10 would be good for me at this track, all things considered. It was a weird way to get there, but Biffle's up to 9th. And may still potentially get more spots before the end of the race. Caution comes out now. It'll be a single file restart. All the lap cars will be behind the lead lap cars. We're down to 8 laps to go. Can Dale Jarrett hang on after taking the lead on a late race restart with 13 laps left for Tony Stewart and Bobby Labonte to get his first win of the season? Have 2 first-time winners in the doubleheader today. At least as far as the season goes, of one getting their first career win, which was Edwards at Pocono. Biffle 2.5 seconds off the lead. Like Labonte's a lap down in front of him. Mike Bliss is on the lead lap. He's gone for 4 top 10s in a row. And he might get there. I think he is on the lead lap, frankly. Biffle gets by Terry Labonte. That was a position. Or sorry, no, Martin was the spot. Still in ninth. 4 to go this time by. For some reason, we get a wreck on the final lap. She wouldn't doubt me the way this race, and really both races tonight have gone. No caution would come out as a result. Biffle walked up the track. He drove it in really deep. Got into Kenny Wallace. Keeps the car under control. He's trying to get underneath the 49 car. Kenny Schrader, he can't do it. Now he's going to go up the track nearly into the wall. Had to lift to keep it off the wall. 3 to go. Contact with Scott Riggs. Biffle trying to hang on to it. He's in the wall again. Can't get off of it. That's got to cost him 2 spots, and now he's outside the top 10. And they'll be coming to 2 to go this time by. Ryan Newman and Kurt Busch were the 2 positions that Biffle had lost. That might have just costed Biffle a shot at a top 10. Newman to the inside of Kurt Busch, trying to drop Kurt back. Team orders coming into play here for Biffle to try to get a top 10 still as the points leader. He's going to get by Busch off turn 4. He's going to get right back into 10th. Gordon closing in quickly behind. He just got around Mark Martin, likely for a spot. Might get around Kurt Busch in the 97 and 3 and 4 for a spot as well. Checkered flag in the air at the front of the field. Dale Jarrett is going to win at Dover. And Biffle, through all of what has happened today, is going to get a top 10. He finishes 10th, 6th and 10th on the doubleheader. I'll take it. What a couple of crazy races on this stream tonight. Unspeakable, to say the least. Unfathomable. Jarrett with the win, 61 laps led. I think he led the most. Max points? No, not quite. Who led the most? Jimmy Johnson led 71 laps. Biffle led 22. Not bad. All under strategy. Dale Jarrett, he gets the win. 61 laps led. Bobby Labonte, no laps led, finishes 2nd. Brought out that last caution for debris. We actually had 9 cautions, not 10. So, 9 yellows in today's race. About had 10 on that final restart, but we did not. Elliott Sadler finishes 3rd. How about 3 straight top 3 finishes for Sadler? 2nd, 3rd. His teammate goes to victory lane for the first time. I think Sadler's got a win coming up soon if he keeps this consistency up. He's on a hot streak right now. Kevin Harvick finishes 4th, and Tony Stewart, who led coming at last restart with 13 to go, falls back to 5th. That's where he finishes. He led 19 laps tonight. Jimmy Johnson, as mentioned, led 71 laps, which was the most. Started 2nd, finished 6th. Mike Bliss, 7th. That's 4 straight top 10s for him. 5 on the season. Casey Kane ends up finishing in 8th. Ryan Newman, 9th. And Greg Biffle, with a little less than 2 laps to go, was able to get back inside the top 10, passing Kurt Busch there after losing the spot to him a couple laps prior. And a 22-lap lead mark for Biffle today. 23 laps led. In both races combined, our teammate Mark Martin, who led 15 laps today, finishes 13th. He fell back on that last restart. He flipped, though. He's lucky to finish. Carl Edwards ends up finishing 17th. I think he flipped. We had a lot of cars. There were like 4 or 5 cars that flipped in that Leffler accident. One I'm definitely going to be uploading on the channel, as far as just how crazy it was. 2 laps led, though, for Edwards, finishing 17th. Kenton didn't lead a lap, finished 20th. He had trouble at one point in the race today, too. And we had 25 cars finish on the lead lap. And the cars that just Jason Leffler DNF'd after LePage in the field. He blew an engine early, then he came back out to LePage the field on a restart. Insane. And he's the only driver that blew an engine in both races. Nobody else DNF'd today except for Leffler. 2 last place finishes for him. Yeah, 20 lead changes, 111.38 miles per hour was the average race speed. And total race time, 1 hour 47 minutes. This was the quicker of the 2 races, but we did have 3 less cautions. And it's a slightly shorter distance as well, 200 miles versus 250 earlier. Crazy stream. Good stream. it was entertaining, but it was wild. Next race is Talladega. It's a 500-mile race for the Aaron's, $4.99, and that will be coming up early next week. But as far as this weekend goes, be sure to tune in tomorrow night. Live commentary for the Las Vegas Cup race. That will start at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with our pre-race coverage. Won't want to miss it. It'll be the second to last live commentary live stream of the season. Biffle holds on to the points lead today. Dale Jarrett moves up in a tie for second with his teammate Ellie Saller, but he does have the tiebreaker because he has a win. Saller does not. Stewart falls back to fourth, still one win there. Edwards with the win in fifth. So 4 drivers with the win through 6 races, and all 4 of them are in the top 5 in points early in the season. And Saller is the only outlier, even though he is on a hot streak. He has, again, finished second, and third in the last 3 races. 6th and 10th, though, tonight for Biffle. 2 top 10 finishes, no top 5s with that. Didn't lead a lot of laps, but still got 5 bonus points in both races. That's allowing him to keep the points lead. 3 consecutive races he's led in points now. Johnson 6th, Jeff Gordon 7th, Mike Bliss still in 8th. And, I mean, the Roush Fenway cars, look, all 5 of them are 13th or better in points, so pretty strong start to the year, all things considered, for this program. Thanks for everybody watching tonight. I'll see you guys tomorrow afternoon. Las Vegas NASCAR Cup Series once again. And hopefully you had fun. It was a wild stream. Definitely going to see an upload coming from the stream tomorrow on the channel because it was a wild, wild night. Thank you, everybody. See you guys tomorrow afternoon.